Social and ethical issues, interpersonal relationships, and virtual communities. Here's another example where I've paired two actual issues together because I really feel that interpersonal relationships and virtual communities, they go kind of hand in hand with one another, really. Virtual communities providing an actual environment for interpersonal relationships to actually, flow. Okay, but we'll look at them together and I hope this video illustrates that. So really, interpersonal relationships relates to how individuals interact with one another as a result of computing systems. Okay, there are a variety of social issues related to technology and its overuse, as well as opportunities for new ways of communication. Virtual communities have kind of risen out of obviously online environments, okay, and they're established through things such as social media and online gaming, which allows groups with specific interests to be able to communicate globally within an interactive environment. Okay, you think about it, whatever your favorite social media might be, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you can like and share posts, you can actually post your own images and people can like and share them. Okay, and you interact with your friends and other users through that online environment. Online gaming is the same, except there's usually an actual game that's the backbone of it, and people can play with each other from different sides of the world. You don't actually have to be friends, you can randomly be paired together, and you can obviously send those people messages too, or some of them have headsets where you can speak with one another, okay? So you've had obviously experience most likely in these virtual communities. So let's first take a look at what the negative impacts of these two issues are. Okay, and the first one I want to talk about is that of addiction. Okay, now as it says here, instances of addiction are recorded in all age groups through the overuse of social media, gaming software, and online shopping. Okay, so that's a broad field, okay, of what people might be actually addicted to. Within gaming too, there's also online gambling, okay, and that's obviously another level because people are actually wasting lots of money and losing it online too. Okay, and yes, because the internet's 24/7, people are doing these things around the clock. It affects their sleep patterns and it affects their relationships. Okay, and this kind of leads us into our next point that human interaction, face-to-face interaction, is also impacted, okay, as a result of this. Okay, the interpersonal relationship of seeing people face to face and interacting them, when people are spending too much time on their computer and only interacting with people online, okay, it does take them away from their actual relationships, okay, their physical relationships of those that are around them. Okay, and look, there is a lot of speculation here. It is up to interpretation of what is meaningful about a relationship. And I hope I'm not offending anyone by saying, a face-to-face relationship is more meaningful than, obviously someone that you're talking to on the other side of the world there. Okay, because I know many relationships have started in different ways, but really, okay, we're looking at the authenticity of a relationship, and face-to-face interaction, okay, obviously impacts on people's mental health. And we do need to be surrounding ourselves and seeing people essentially. The final negative impact I want to talk about is that of cyberbullying. And I'm a teacher myself and specifically a year coordinator at the moment. Okay, and look, with social media and online gaming, they provide an environment for bullying between individuals. Okay, and it's different to the past types of bullying because it's on a grand and public scale because it is being used through these social media apps. Okay, and it gets posted there and it's open 24/7. So victims of bullying can't get away from it. Okay, so it's a tough time to be a kid or a teenager, okay, and where you can't get away from bullying. Back in the day, you'd go home, you'd be with your family, you could forget all about it. But cyberbullying is quite a sinister thing, and I hope no one, gets involved with this kind of stuff here. On the other side now, let's actually look at some of the positive elements that of interpersonal relationships and virtual communities. And the first one I actually want to talk about is that of global communication. Okay, through social media tools, teleconferencing, video conferencing software, as well as other internet-based software, they allow people to communicate through digital networks with one another from all over the world for both business and leisure. Okay, it is great. Your mate might have moved overseas. You can still play video games with them on both sides of the world. You can still see each other growing up and what they're getting up to through social media and looking at each other's pictures and liking them. But also from a business standpoint too. Okay, you could be working with a project team where people are based in different countries, okay, and you can video conference once a week to say how the project is going, okay, and actually give recommendations to one another. You might never actually physically meet each other, but you can do business online because of these technologies that exist, okay, and allow us to actually do work together. The final positive I want to talk about is that of shared interests and activities. Virtual communities such as online gaming and social media allow people of similar interests to connect with one another, sharing and participating in a specific interest with one another. Okay, you might be a certain type of gamer and you might like a very specific game that none of your friends actually like playing. Okay, but because we can play online, okay, you might be able to find a group of people out there that you can game with. Okay, and so it's great. It just opens up these opportunities of meeting new people. Obviously, there is internet dating as well. I know I was saying all the things before about, face to face is everything, but internet dating does provide a starting point for a relationship for people to meet. Okay, and then they can meet face to face and, hopefully make a more meaningful relationship like that. Okay, but there are these new opportunities through these virtual communities that encourage people to meet each other and share their interests and hopefully match well with one another in the case of internet dating. So I hope you understand now why I've kind of paired interpersonal relationships and virtual communities together, okay? Because we are kind of worried that, interpersonal relationships are suffering through people using computers too much, having too much screen time. But also with virtual communities being established, they do provide new opportunities for people to meet and interact with one another based on their specific interests, and providing the, a nice playing field, a nice grounds for, people to interact with one another about things they like.